All right, everyone, back for another episode of Consumer Trial Lawyer Academy. Appreciate everyone for joining us. Thanks for your interest in what we're trying to do here. Obviously, we hope it's super helpful. We've had a lot of great feedback about our videos we've provided previously about taking depositions, our strategies, how we do these things, what are we looking for, what are we trying to accomplish. And so today, working on a video for you guys that actually comes from a recent deposition that I've taken back on Halloween of this year. Essentially, here's the setup. This gentleman is a technician for a company, that automotive repair shop in Austin, Texas. My clients went in, had brake work done, drove less than 2 miles away. One of their tires came off. That's called a wheel off incident, if you've never dealt with one. And they had a crash. They were fortunate. They didn't impact any other cars. They were able to come to a stop, primarily because they had not gotten up to a highway speed yet when the crash occurred. Did have some injuries, do have some problems. So we're, jumping in 53 minutes into this deposition because this is where we hit the proverbial fork in the road. Up to this point, we have established that this young man actually denied being responsible for providing what they call the second torque, which was supposed to ensure that the wheels were on properly. And now we're kind of, at this point in the deposition, I really think I am wrapping up this deposition. I think I'm asking the last few questions, and this is where it's going to end. But as all of us must do, you have to listen to the answers, and you have to be willing to run down the information that's being provided. And so here, this young man, you'll see it with us. And he brings up an interesting new topic that we have to kind of run down and explore. So we'll talk about how we do that. So here we go. As far as a customer choosing only to repair front brakes instead of rear brakes, customers make those types of decisions all the time, right? Nothing about the condition of Mr. Houston's brakes caused the tire to fall off, right? That would have been because it didn't get tightened correctly, right? Fun fact, there's a defense lawyer trying to say, hey, shut up. But here we go. You know of any reason the tire would have fallen off immediately after your work on it, other than it not being secured properly? And in fact, your corporate policy generally is that you actually identify this situation as a will-off incident, right? You guys have special training about how to avoid this. And in your mind, you are not the person responsible on November 2nd for making sure that this vehicle's wheels were secured properly. Do you know you don't have any knowledge of whether anyone ever did the second torque in this vehicle, right? Okay, so first of all, I apologize. My questions are not coming off staccato fast. If you're used to that, I'm processing a lot of what this young man is saying as he's giving it to me. And I have a little bit of background in automotive, so I know a little bit about the way these places work. And I'm thinking through, how far can I push this line of questioning? And honestly, it was very tempted to stop after the answer to that question. But I thought for a minute, and I said, let me just double clinch this. So here's what I thought was going to be my last question in this deposition. If the second torque had been done properly, would this wheel have been able to fall off? There's a possibility for this. Woo! Hold up. So, because I'm sometimes tech-tarded and don't quite get everything just right, let me make sure you understand the question. The question there was, if the second torque had been done properly, would this wheel have been able to fall off? That seems like a softball question to me. The answer to that question should be no. His answer is there's a possibility still, yes. Alrighty then. Now it's game on. Gotta hear this. So, again, expecting no, yet there's still a possibility. Gotta explain, right? So here we go. And how would that have occurred? Because Mr. Houston didn't have the original rims. He had aftermarket rims. Aftermarket rims are very bad for vehicles. Right. And how would that cause the wheel to come off? Because they're a lot heavier. So, like I said, aftermarket rims need a lot more torque to them to make sure that they're seated correctly. If there's more vibration, it's going to start to work itself loose over time. Okay. Aftermarket rims are the culprit. Okay. Well, obviously, this is a place that takes the wheels off vehicles every day. They have to have planning for that, right? It's just got to be something you're used to seeing. Seems logical. Let's see where this is going to go. And your company specializes in doing this type of work, brake work, and that always involves taking off tires. And you always deal with aftermarket rims. In other words, it's not a new scenario for a vehicle to come in with aftermarket rims. And your company is aware that they need extra torque. Not everyone. It's more of a person by person through your experience. Oh, wait a minute. Aftermarket rims. You're a brake store. Obviously, you know these things, right? I mean, I'm giving these people the benefit of the doubt. I'm assuming this is headed for a logical explanation. It's person to person. There's no training on it. Really? That's the move. So let's see what he says. And so are you saying that your company doesn't have a policy to identify when aftermarket rims or wheels need extra torque? So how would technicians learn what wheels needed extra torque? So just through the experience of being in this field for so long. And so would they learn that because wheels came off that they had torque to the manufacturer's specification? It could be. Okay, again. This guy literally just said that the way we learn that aftermarket wheels need more torque is because we torque them to the manufacturer specifications and they fall off. That's the corporate learning that he's speaking of. Well, glad I never found my way to this store for brake repair. So in other words, it's possible that Miss Henderson or someone else attempted to second torque these wheels and did it to the manufacturer specification. But because of aftermarket rims, that was not enough. Do you have any experience with wheel-off incidents involving aftermarket rims? You ever been trained on Okay. So let me get this straight. You're in the business of taking off wheels on vehicles every day and doing repair work and put them back on, tighten them up. But whenever there's aftermarket wheels, you don't truly ever know if they need extra torque. Yeah, okay, this is not going well, right? So what keeps anybody's wheels from flying off? Yeah, well, let's talk about some of that. Okay, so then how do you determine if a wheel is actually properly secured on a vehicle? That's why we go through the test drive of the vehicle to ensure that the repairs are done correctly and it's safe for the customer. You know how long the test drive normally is? Depends on the manager that wants to test drive. Usually it's about 3 to 4 miles or so. Enough to get up to speed, break in the brakes, take a few turns, left and right, make sure everything's good. And so, you know how long it would typically take lug nuts to work their way loose if they were not tightened up on an aftermarket rim? Depends on the road conditions. In what way? If it's a bumpier road, it's going to work itself a lot looser and stuff like that. A lot more turns, it's going to put stress on it and start working a lot loose. Okay. And so, do you have any information about how long it would normally take for a wheel to work itself loose in the event of an aftermarket rim being installed? So that's really just kind of guesswork then. So in other words, anyone that brake check works on that has aftermarket rims is subject to the lug nuts coming off after they were mounted in the vehicle. Wow. So now we've got every vehicle with aftermarket rims has the capacity to have a tire come off. So how bad is this problem? Let's see. About how many cars a day do you guys work on in your shop? Average day between 20 to 30. You know what percentage of those cars have some form of aftermarket rim? Maybe less than 25%. So something a little less than 1/4 of all the cars you deal with have some sort of aftermarket rim. 4 to 7 cars a day, roughly. You are open pretty much all the time. Yes. In a 30-day month, that would be 120 cars. If you guys had put rims on that you aren't certain are going to stay on the car, right? Do you get any reports about how frequently a wheel-off incident occurs? Not very often. Not very often. Right? Any reports about what type of rims on vehicles where there's a wheel-off incident? Do you have any special reports about wheel-off incidents for aftermarket rims? So, roughly 100 vehicles a month would be leaving out of brake shop 405 or brake check 405 that have a risk of a wheel-off incident because of aftermarket rims. Okay, so now we've got roughly 100 cars a month going out of this one particular store. So, how many are going on all over Austin, Texas? Interesting little development, right? So let's advance this a little bit. See what he has to say about that. In Austin, check shops are there and brake check stores are there in Austin?
In the Austin area, in the city of Austin, there's 4, 5.
Do you all do about the same number of vehicles per day?
Yes.
Some do more,
Yes, sir.
some do less.
Yes, sir.
All right, so rather than take you through 2 minutes of working through what it is that he says about how many stores we get to arrive to a number, let's hear what he says. Fair. Do you have any idea how many will-off incidents have occurred in Austin in the last 3 years? You see any reports or any information at all about how many that's happened with? Receive any special training about any incident related to will-off incidents? How many stores are in San Antonio? You just know about Austin. So, roughly 350 cars a month that could have a wheel come off the middle of the road more or less any time without warning, right? What happens when a wheel comes off? When there's a wheel off incident, what normally happens?
You would either get towed back to the shop that did the work to repair any damage that may have happened.
As far as the person operating the vehicle, fair to say they're going to lose control?
It depends on how fast you're going.
So they're not going to have 4 wheels to steer, right? So one axle is going to go to the ground. And depending on which wheel it is, depends on whether or not how difficult it is to steer or turn. And also possible, depending on what wheel it is, to may cause a vehicle to slide or skid. It can also cause a vehicle to go into another lane of traffic, right? Does that sound like a safe situation to you? Are you concerned that one day somebody's going to walk up and tell you that somebody went out the door, went down the road and had a crash and got killed? All righty then. So this deposition that I thought was going to end 30 minutes ago takes this weird turn and goes in a completely new direction. And what's most important for you as a consumer lawyer, being willing to take that information, roll with it, explore it, get what's crucial out of it, and understand how it impacts your case, right? In this particular situation, this guy has essentially put brake check to the mat by, essentially committing to the idea that there's 350 cars a month that are rolling out the door. The wheel could fall off any time. And, it's not limited just to brake check customers because they're operating on all the public roads in the city of Austin. Therefore, anyone operating on roads, anywhere where they have stores, subject to encounter a car, loses a wheel and has a crash, could involve them. And obviously this is a terribly dangerous situation that they don't have a clue about how to address, but they're happy to contribute to making it worse. So by being willing to explore this information, go down this road, run this out, this went from a case where there was potential for an argument that this was a one-off scenario, 1 in a million shot, never seen this before, to holy shit, these people are a menace. Something's got to be done. Again, good deposition skills. Notice throughout the entire video, tone never really changes. Always super polite, always kind. No badgering, no harassment, no tone, no negativity, no positivity, just the facts. And yet, this testimony essentially puts the defendant in a no-win situation in front of a jury and creates a very real possibility of a punitive damages award if the case goes to trial. So, always be prepared to go where things are not expected. Always be prepared to follow whatever road the witness takes, and always be alert to opportunities to cast a broader net, show a bigger harm, create, the evidence to show that essentially the defendant's conduct is a menace to society. Don't ever be caught flat-footed in those scenarios. Be where you can take advantage and use them for, the improvement of your position in the case. Thanks again for joining us for Consumer Trial Lawyer Academy. Appreciate everyone who's viewing, watching, and subscribing. And if you enjoy this video, then obviously please like, subscribe, do all those other things that YouTube says again matters. We appreciate you very much and hope to bring more to you